Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And a very interesting thing happened yesterday.
Well, interesting. Well, yeah.
Completely expected. Yeah. Gaming journos went on strike. Kotaku went on strike, and so many other journalists from these other news outlets owned by Geo Media.
Yeah, so they're all from the same company, basically.
Right, and this is the same Geo Media that told Deadspin to stick to sports. This is the same Geo Media that got rid of a bunch of AV Club staffers not too long ago because they would not relocate. And this is the same Geo Media that, if I had to guess, will probably just kick these people to the curb. I don't think the strike is going to work out very well for them. They do not seem to be too terribly concerned about unions. In fact, it seems like it was extra baggage that came with the websites, which were difficult to sell, by the way. You know, all these websites, Kotaku and Deadspin, and you know, the remnants of Gawker. It was a very tough sell, I think, partially because of the journalists working for the sites.
Right, and then the thing is, I think the union was like 2015 that they started being the union. And they knew it was going to come with baggage when they bought it because of this. And now we have them striking and stuff like this, but no one cares because back in 2015, the websites did a hell of a lot better than they are now. Most of these sites are not doing anywhere near what they were doing. The ad rates are down, and then they're going to demand all this stuff. And I mean, I get if there's like legitimate concerns and reasons, but they're going to demand a lot of stuff. And how is it getting paid for? Because you have to actually bring the views to warrant the demands.
Yeah, so that's the problem that a lot of these websites are going to have, is that the unions are kind of worthless because the views aren't there, the ad revenue is not there, the venture capitalists are not cutting, you know, checks to support these websites anymore. They have to make money, and people who work in media who push for unionization in many cases don't fully understand where the money comes from. You know, unless you're privy to ad rates and the economics of things, you know, just shitting out your hot takes about the video game industry or misogyny or racism in the games and comics and whatever doesn't actually pay the bills.
Right, not anymore. You used to be able to get outrage clicks, but that's not even working. So what are you going to do? I mean, if you're only bringing in, just for argument's sake, $10,000, but you're demanding compensation worth $12,000, you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, almost 260,000 subs. So we're like 20 away. So hit the subscribe button. We do have a blog at drez.clownfishtv.com, and we're going to be doing more with that blog and with Pirates and Princesses. No, our writers are freelance. They are not unionized. And I want to be clear before we get into this any further, I am not anti-union.
No,
People
not
keep
at
thinking
all.
we're anti-union. I think unions make sense when
they're necessary.
When they're necessary, when it's very obvious that your employers are taking advantage of you, when you work, you know, you have a very specialized skill set and you don't want the market for that to be devalued. Plumbers, electricians, you know, that sort of thing.
We've even said before, other people that wanted to unionize, when you have concerns that are valid, like we want clear cut, you know, this is our job description, we want, you know, better, you know, guidance on things and things like that, that I can understand. It's when you start getting into we want to control what projects get done and I'm the secretary that I have a problem with, because it's like, no.
Yeah, and that happened with Image Comics. Image Comics, you know, basically wanted to control the content. In this case, I think we have a lot of millennial media, as they call it, millennial media journalists who have gotten a free ride for the last 5 or 6 years. And basically these companies have coasted on venture capital, whether it's this one or BuzzFeed or so many other websites that were started around 2012, 2013.
The money wasn't dependent on the actual results.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, you didn't really have to bring it. You could get, you know, 6 figures, and they parked it at home for the last couple of years. I guess that's one of the concerns they have, is they want to keep working remotely.
Honestly, I don't think that should be an issue, because, like, I mean, you can do everything. We know for a fact we do it. You could do everything remotely.
Yeah, well, I'd be like, fine. You want to work remotely, then it's going to be piecework at that point. We'll pay you per article or whatever. We're not giving you a salary because we don't know.
No, that's true.
If you're at home, I mean, that's a deal I've had before.
Yeah, that's a deal that most people get. You know,
it's like we don't know if you're putting in an 8 or 10 hour day.
That's
we
fair.
just have to take your word for it. But we know if you're turning articles in. You know. Anyway, we're going to talk about this. Paul Tassi has an article out on Forbes. Kotaku goes dark as part of GMG's strike alongside Gizmodo, Jezebel, and others.
But the reality is a lot of these sites, not all of them, but a lot of the ones are ones that nothing of value was lost. I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm really not. But it's like...
Be a bitch.
It's like...
Be a boss.
Oh, where else am I going to get my biased news from now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're talking about Kotaku, and I think it was Ian Walker who did the PlayStation 5 review. They were given a free PlayStation 5. He was given a free PlayStation 5. And he turned it into some anti-Trump rant. Like,
seriously did, yeah.
What the hell does one thing have to do with another? Like, he felt guilty that the world was falling apart.
In his opinion.
And he was playing video games. I'm like, you work for a video game website. That's what you do.
Maybe you should be thankful that you had a job that you could do from home during the pandemic. And then just be like, I'm going to do my job very, very well so that I can continue to have a job and we continue to have sponsors like PlayStation.
Yeah, right.
Sony, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, do you know how damn lucky you are? Do you know how many small businesses went out of business because of the lockdowns? You know how many people
we did. That's why he was so sad about it.
Yeah, but it's like maybe people...
I have a PlayStation 5, but I can't enjoy it because Trump...
Maybe people just wanted to forget about all the shit going on in the world for a little while and talk about video games.
So people are now allowed to get games to review and say that they or things to review and then make it about Biden?
It's like, I can't enjoy this video game because it reminds me of Biden.
They're still gonna do it about Trump even though he's not in office anymore.
Oh, I know. Well, we were talking earlier today. We're starting to see that pendulum swing in full swing. In fact, Saturday Night Live, I was shocked.
Yes.
Saturday Night Live did an alt-right sketch. No, they basically had people sitting around the table having a dinner party, questioning mask and vaccine mandates, and they were getting the stink eye from their peers. But they did it in such a way that it was like, yeah, why are we doing this? We don't even understand. And it was... Oh,
no, how dare they?
It was...
Well, they made fun of Biden in that Spider-Man. Yeah. It's all Spider-Man's fault. Yeah. I was just like, holy shit, yeah.
So I'm like, it's ending. If it's safe for Saturday Night Live to dunk on some of this shit, it's ending.
To be fair, though, Saturday Night Live dunks on every president,
that's true.
They do that. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not often funny, but that's what they do.
I don't think they're getting Alec Baldwin back as Trump anytime soon. Just a theory. Not. Anyway, let's talk about this because this is Kotaku and Polygon were kind of the poster children for game journos gone bad, right? And I think Kotaku is at the final stage. I think it's game over for them because I think what's going to happen, in my opinion, I mean, I could be totally wrong here, but I think Geo Media is like, we have the websites, we have the brand recognition, we can replace you all with pretty cheap journos.
I mean, or just journos who are willing to accept what they can afford to give them. Right. They should honestly flat out replace some people with people that are going to actually be fair about the news and report the news and not just put their opinions in everything.
Yeah.
But that's of course, my opinion.
So this is coming from Paul Tassi, who works at Forbes and not Kotaku. He said, those visiting Kotaku, one of the largest video game websites on the internet, alongside Polygon and IGN, both of them are very opinionated, and they need to stick to
all
games.
All of the above are opinionated.
We'll have noticed that the site has not posted any new content since Monday.
No, most people probably didn't notice because they don't care.
They didn't notice. It turns out the writers and editors don't want you there at all. Kotaku, alongside Gizmodo, Jezebel, Lifehacker, Jalopnik, and The Root, are fully on strike as part of the Gizmodo Media Group union due to their employer, Geo Media, failing to meet their contract demands.
So they're going to hold their breath.
Yeah, right? It's a rare total newsroom walkout in an industry that has only recently become more unionized, but Geo Media has been a rare case in the space with its antagonistic relationship with its writers and staff, which have resulted in high-profile departures like the entire staff of Deadspin quitting and being replaced. Yeah, and current Deadspin is not part of GMG and not on strike. That's exactly what's going to happen here, because they were told to stick to sports. They didn't want to stick to sports, so they fucking got replaced. This is what Kickstarter did, too.
No one's making you work there.
Nobody's making you work there. And you should be damn lucky to be able to I'd say play video games for a living. Write about gamers for a living.
Yeah, write about gamers, right? Because half them aren't even playing it.
Give your hot takes for a living and get paid and get, any health insurance or anything like that.
Yeah, most people don't even have health insurance. Like there's people that are out there working like other, jobs where they're 9 to 5 and they don't get health insurance. I mean, we've had those jobs.
Yeah. If it were me, I'd be like, I think they know they're done because they've already fired Deadspin and they'll start over. And look,
that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but I mean, I hate to say it, but if people were getting too ridiculous, and I sincerely couldn't meet the demands because they weren't bringing enough to the table for me to even cover it, I would probably be like, hey, I got to do what I got to do. I'm sorry. There's no contract now. We didn't agree to anything. So, oops.
Yeah, they unionized under the previous owner. And Geo Media, again, they're not going to put up with this bullshit. And you look at how far down these video game news websites have fallen.
Right. And when they negotiated contracts originally, it was back in 2015 before all this stuff was going down. They were actually bringing the views. People were actually going, their ad rates were up. It's changed significantly since then. The whole landscape is different. Yeah, and look, they had no problem cutting AV Club staff members that had been there for years loose. They had no problem replacing Deadspin. They just paid them their severance and said, oh, well, we'll replace you. And that's what's going to happen here. I mean, it might even be cheaper for them just to give them their severance and then meet the demands and then move on. That is what happened at Kickstarter. Kickstarter thought they were being so clever, starting a union. And again, it wasn't necessarily because of the working conditions. It was because people at Kickstarter wanted to have the power to control the content that was being produced by Kickstarter crowdfunding campaigns. Kickstarter realized they were losing money, and Kickstarter realized these people were problematic, so they took the first opportunity they could to get rid of them. Well, from what I've seen, it's not about working conditions. It's about healthcare and more money. Well, it depends on who you ask, because other people said that it's because of, the fact they can't work from home. Yeah, but there's no reason to be working that was a perk you got during the pandemic. There's no reason for that now. No. I mean, if some places let you continue to do that, but a lot don't. Yeah, so they want more inclusive healthcare for trans and gender expansive employees. I honestly think healthcare should be healthcare. And, it depends on the policy and what, I don't know what policies they have, but if it were me, again, I'd be like, if you're offered healthcare, this is a healthcare package, and, we'll try to find healthcare that's good for everybody, for all of our employees. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Salary increases in the wake of the pandemic and during rapid inflation. Right, which there's less money for the media company. How are they going to pay for this? That's exactly it. Like we said before with BuzzFeed, this is a Hail Mary pass for BuzzFeed to go public because the ad rates are plummeting for banner ads for most of these websites. And most of them, they brought in some banner ad revenue, but they were also bankrolled by venture capital, and that's running out. And I got to tell you, they're going to look at this and be like, are you even, paying for your $100,000 a year salary? Well, when it comes to these kind of jobs, I can get, it's like comics. There are bunches of people that are skilled, waiting in the wings for an opportunity, and they'll have no problem replacing them. Oh, yeah. Better family leave. What's family leave? Usually it's maternity. Yeah, some companies have paternity too, which I gotta tell you, I would like to have. I think that's nice, but I'm saying most don't, not in the U.S. No. They should, but a lot of them don't. Allowing for work from home flexibility and getting management to stop demanding remote workers move to New York City. Okay, well, New York City. Okay, I can understand asking for work from home flexibility. I can't, because they've got it so far and it's been working. But if they're really being sticklers about them coming back to the office and being in New York City, I have to think they have a reason for that. Like, they've been paying for work from home all this time and they weren't necessarily getting what they paid for, or they've run into issues, hence the demand to move to New York City. Because, usually for something like this, you don't have to. They'll probably just move them out to LA like they did with the AV Club. They'll be like, well, if nobody's willing to work in New York and New York rents are very expensive, we'll just move someplace else and we'll replace all of you. Oh, and we'll move to the Midwest and replace all of you. There you go. Technically, this kind of stuff can be done from pretty much anywhere. Even from Pittsburgh. Yeah. But the fact that they're being so, if they're being so ridiculous about this, then that usually comes from a reason. Oh, you missed the last one. The last one's the kicker. Oh, not enough consistent work on diversity efforts. There you go. They're literally protesting
They're literally protesting in the street. God, you're game journos. This is the end. This is exactly everything that was going to happen. Like, as soon as you hired these people, this is what they were going to do. They were going to turn on you. Well, absolutely.
What was funny to me is some people were pointing out that they're picketing from the streets and digitally.
Digital picketing. Well,
because the ones
Twitter
don't live in New York, I guess. And I'm like, wait, you can't haul your ass to work, but you can haul your ass in front with a sign? You're not too worried about being exposed there.
Like, this is everything we talk about. It's like you let these people into your company and they're not really bringing anything. They're just causing problems. They're destroying your company. So the reason, as I understand it, that Geo Media, or that wasn't Geo Media, it was what was left of Gawker. This is the remnants of Gawker. The reason it was such a tough sell is that it came with these people.
No, I mean, I'm not saying people shouldn't protest for things that legitimately matter. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't ask for things. But I'm just like, what I'm saying is you have to look at the big picture here. And I don't know if they're bringing in the money or they're worth, the writers themselves are bringing the views. Because a lot of people have, like, turned against these sites because they're so tired of opinion masquerading as news.
Okay, so I have this saying with help. You know, I said sometimes you have help and sometimes you have anti-help. Anti-help is when people think they're helping in their minds. They think they're helping, but they're actually causing you more problems. Mm-hmm. And I used to use this term, you know, working different jobs, like, oh my God, the person's anti-help. Like, it'd be a lot easier if they weren't here. These people are anti-money, okay? They're not bringing the money in just because they're making the content.
They're pro-money. They just want to be paid it.
They want to be paid more. So here's the thing. You're actively driving away gamers, driving away eyeballs with your ridiculous hot takes, right? And then you've got your journalists out there on Twitter shitting on people and all this other stuff, actively costing the company money, and you want to turn around and demand that they pay you more. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, at some point, as a business owner, you're going to look at this and be like, we're not throwing good money after bad. I'll just pay you your severance, mm-hmm. and you can get the fuck out and go find another job someplace else. Good luck with that, because all these media outlets are collapsing. Hell, CNN. We did a video yesterday on CNN. The new owner is coming in from Warner Discovery. David Zaslav is basically telling his underling, the new underling, the Colbert guy, that they need to stick to news, hard mm-hmm. news. You know, and that's going to happen here too. They're going to be like, oh, okay, well, now we have a chance to
clean house.
We have a chance to reset Kotaku and actually make it a reputable video game news site with all new people. You know, and that might be what they have to do.
Right. And I mean, at this point, if they do have to pay severances, it might be best to just do that.
Just pay it and take the L. I mean, that's what Kickstarter did. They paid the severance, got Camilla Zhang and her crew out of there, and now they're like, yeah, now we're going to focus on what we're going to do, because they probably knew, hey, we're going to do this blockchain thing, and Camilla's not going to like it.
I don't know, but what I do know is if the people were bringing the dollars and they were bringing in the views and and the money was through the roof and people were earning their keep, so to speak, I don't think they'd be as resistant to agreeing to what they want. But then again, I also know that the new movements tend to be like the diversity comment. Like, we're going to try to shoehorn in some. We want to control what games we accept to review. That'll probably be the next thing. We want to control who we accept systems from or something like that. And we don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me if that's something they're arguing for.
Yeah. So it said now is a really, really bad time for Kotaku to go dark because all these major releases are coming out.
No, it's a great time for everybody else.
Yeah.
All it's doing is you're just making the competition, putting them in a better position.
Horizon Forbidden West is out. Elden Ring's out. Gran Turismo 7's out.
And everybody will just go to IGN and all that. They'll just go there.
Yeah. To go completely, or YouTube, they'll go to YouTubers. They'll pivot to video.
Yeah, pivot to video.
They'll pivot to video. To go completely dark for the strike is a bold statement. Again, they're asking readers to avoid visiting the site for the time being while we were on it. The idea is if these sites see traffic crash, management will be forced to agree. Well, here's the thing. Here's the update.
Yeah, I was going to say, read this for sure.
This is coming from the CEO, Jim Spamfeller, who again told Deadspin to stick to sports, who again told AV Club, if you don't like the fact that we're moving your office to California, you're done.
Well, here we go.
Here it comes. Here's the other shoe, guys. On behalf of the entire leadership team at Geo Media, I am disappointed we could not come to terms on the current GMG union contract. We bargained in good faith right up until the deadline late last night when the union voted to cut off talks and strike. To be clear, the terms we offered the GMG union were not only equivalent to, but in some instances better than, terms agreed to by the Onion union, which the Onion actually makes money. The Onion actually brings traffic. GMG's sister union here at Geo, just a year ago. We're struggling to understand why terms agreed to by half the editorial union members last year are not acceptable to the other half now. Unfortunately, that puts Geo Media in an untenable position with regard to these current negotiations. This is not good, guys, not good news. Disagreements between unions and management are nothing new, and I'm hopeful we will find a middle ground soon. We invite the GMG union to return to the bargaining table so we may reach a deal that satisfies its members while enabling Geo to operate profitably.
That's what we're saying.
Basically,
exactly
you're
what we're saying.
Asking for the moon, and if we paid you all what you wanted and we gave you all what you wanted, you're not bringing the traffic in, we're going out of business.
The simple truth is that my role, along with my colleagues in the leadership of Geo, is to balance the needs of all our employees with the needs of the business, to set us all up for success, not just those in the GMG union. Fortunately, our contract with the Onion established a workable framework for that success. And the Onion, I'm sure, probably gets, it stays profitable. So I know it's achievable.
Yeah, so basically, if you were bringing more, you'd probably get paid more. And he's like, we gave you better terms than the Onion. The Onion, I know, is Geo Media's most profitable website.
Yeah, if I were people at the Onion, I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
I
would
and
be.
then you're still thumbing your nose at it, and it's basically like, hey, we're only doing what we can do because we have to be able to stay profitable as a company, or there's gonna be no jobs.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna be like we either reach an agreement or we have to let everybody go and we start over again, or we just shut the damn websites down. I mean, we've already seen them collapse IO9 into Gizmodo. IO9 used to be its own site, and I could totally see them being like, fine, we're gonna do a games radar, and they took like Newsarama and they collapsed it in one site. We're like, fine, we're gonna have a video game tab on the Onion website that is actually objective video game news.
Well, I don't think they'll combine it with the Onion.
Or something.
That'd be too off-putting.
Well, I mean, they'll take all these sites, though, and they'll just collapse them into one top-level domain. They don't need 6 different websites. One website.
And then they'll get rid of redundancies.
Right. Gizmodo or whatever. And they'll just have a video game tab. I mean, again, they've done it with IO9. It was redundant, because why do we need IO9 when we talk about, we've got Kotaku and all that other stuff? They'll do it. They'll absolutely do it. So I'm telling you, if you want, not trying to be a dick, not trying to be that guy, but if you want to keep your job at all, you might want to go back to the bargaining table.
Yeah, because it sounds like they're willing to work with you somewhat, but you have to also understand where the business is in relationship to what you bring to the table.
Right.
And anymore, by the numbers, you guys have burnt that bridge. You have completely taken websites that were very, very successful, and because you're using it as your personal soapbox for your opinions more than you're doing your job, these websites have been run into the ground.
Yeah.
So, you need to build that back up first.
Good luck with that.
Have fun.
Yeah, good luck with that. I think this is going to end badly for these people.
I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but at the same time, I'm like, you have to understand the reality of the situation as well.
Some of these people, I would not shed a tear if they...
I would love to know what their pays are.
I think, I want to say Tim Pool did an article or a video about it a couple of years ago, and I know some of these writers at some of these websites were getting like $150,000 a year to shit on gamers.
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, what the hell?
That's what I like to know what the general pay rates are.
I think I read before they start at like 50, 60,000, which in Manhattan's not good.
No, but that's better than most jobs in the country.
Yeah. You're for what you do, for the field you're in, you're way overpaid.
And I will say to Geo Media, the whole letting people work from home thing, you might want to consider sticking with that. But then again, with that comes you're gonna have to document your time and prove you're doing that work, because the fact that they're being very specific about that tells me that they must have had people abusing the system.
No doubt they probably had people writing more on Twitter every day than they were writing articles.
So
it wouldn't surprise me.
Hopefully they reach an agreement.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.